What is going on, everybody? It is your favorite guy, Demetrius Naylor, and we are live. Guys, I'm super excited. So we're doing part two tonight. As you know, we're doing part two with the CEO of Keep Chasing, and we're also going to do a few announcements. So I'm super excited. If you guys will share this out, let somebody know that we're live, because you never know who we might be able to help. While at the same time bringing you some new information on this journey that we call the Sunday Night Showcase. So what we always do with the Sunday Night Showcase is we basically talk to an entrepreneur. We talk to somebody who's going through the journey. We talk to somebody who is living it, breathing it, and doing it. So that way we can get some tangible advice so we can help you on your journey. But before we get started, I want to talk about something tonight because I didn't get to make the announcement on Friday, so I will make it now. So two things. First thing, so what we're doing is we are on TikTok. There's a thing called the Venmo Challenge. So if you haven't seen it, what it is that we are going to turn around and we are going to take all donations, as many donations as we can between now and the 4th of July. What we're going to do with those donations is we are going to pick somebody. I've seen Glenn Lundy do it. I've seen a couple of other people do it. But what we're going to do is we're going to take all the donations from the now to the July 4th, all the donations we receive for that time period, and we're going to give them to somebody in need, somebody who needs some help, somebody who's trying to get started in their journey, maybe who's somebody who doesn't have just enough money to do something, or maybe a mom or a dad that just needs a little help during this time. COVID has hit different people differently. So we are going to try and be a blessing. So that I'm super excited about that. Another thing I'm very excited about is the fact that we are officially a legit company. So what I did last week was, it was about a week and a half ago. I stepped out. I did a 180 pivot and I decided that I was going to open my own company. So what we did was we are now Nailed It LLC. What that means is we will have the Heavyweight Disciples brand, the BB3 Studios brand, which is my wife's brand, all underneath Nailed It LLC. We will be doing a few different things. But what that was for us, that was just stepping out into faith, stepping out into what God's called us to do, stepping out and making sure that every chance we get, we can maximize the opportunity. And there were some things that we needed to do. But I also launched my t-shirt brand. So launch a t-shirt brand. We're going to have Nailed It merch. We're going to have Heavyweight Disciples merch. So if you didn't know and you go up on Nailed It, you'll see the fact that there is a shop now. So what you can do is you can order your Nailed It shirts. And what we're doing with all of those shirts is we are going to give a portion of the proceeds back to somebody who's less fortunate, or we're going to give a portion of those back to the church. So we're super excited about that, to what we're being called into and what we're being called to do in the Nailed It brand. But yeah, so this past week we are officially Nailed It LLC. I'm super excited about that. I'm super excited about, just pivoting and doing whatever God's called us to do in this time. I'm just waiting for my brother to hop on so that way we can go ahead and talk about and discuss his journey, his place, and how it's been for him. He owns the Keep Chasing brand. And the Keep Chasing brand is basically, it's a lifestyle. It's not just a mantra. It's not like something that he just says, like, keep chasing. Like some of these brands, some of these people, they have some of these brands that just mean nothing to anybody. They just came up with it because it was cool, it was catchy, but it doesn't necessarily do anything for people. What it does is it just basically facilitates for them to make money. My brother has been a pro athlete. He's played for the Harlem Globetrotters. He now owns his own manufacturing company, and he owns his own clothing company, clothing brand and company. So for him to be able to do that, we wanted to spotlight him and talk to him about what it's like, because a lot of people don't know he has his bachelor's. He did not have to go ahead and start his own company. He could have went the 9 to 5 route. He could have done any one of those things. But what he decided to do was chase his dream, chases and pursue his passion in life, and that was to start his own company, start his own brand. So what we did last week was we looked at what that looks like for him, what that meant for him, what that did for him, some of the obstacles that he went through. We made it about halfway through, and I wanted to bring him back on because I felt like there were some tangible things that some people can get from him and his experience because you just don't know what you don't know. And somebody who's living, breathing, eating it, like has no other job. Like, yes, his spouse works, but like he is the breadwinner. Like he has no other job. He has no other income. It's just him getting after it with his brand. So, and he built that from the ground up to the point where now he has the manufacturing company where I'm talking about like the collar, the sleeve, they put it all, the two pieces together, sew it, put his label in it, do all that. But they can do that for other companies too. We're going to be partnering together as well. But ultimately, it was just a blessing to be able to see him grow through this period. And I'll be the first one to say, like, I had some doubts about it. I had some concerns like, hey, is this necessarily what you need to be doing right now? Could you be maximizing your potential and building this on the side? And what I'll say about that is a lot of people don't want to step out and do it. A lot of people want to turn around and do it as a side hustle because they're scared. They're scared of what that looks like. And that's why I definitely wanted him to turn around and talk about that. This evening, because ultimately I think people need to understand that that ultimately if you step out on faith and you do what you feel in your heart to do, sometimes it's not going to be easy. Sometimes it may not even work right away. It may take a while. You know what I mean? We're going to talk about like how long it took for him to be profitable. We're going to talk about all the different things as soon as he hops on here. I'm just waiting for him to hop on. But so the Venmo challenge, back to that. So we are doing the Venmo challenge through my company, which will be basically we're taking all of the donations, we're taking all of the 50 cents. All we're asking is for like 50, 25. We're not asking for thousands of dollars. We're just asking for you know what I mean, whatever you can spare, your spare change for the next few days. And then from now till July 4th, we may extend it, but basically I wanted to do it from now to July 4th, see how much we could rack up. At this point, we have a little over $30 just from last night to this morning from people on TikTok. So it'd be great if we could get some other people involved through here, PayPal, Venmo, however you want to send them. We're going to take all of that money. We're going to turn around and bless somebody with it. It is a blessing to be a blessing. So, but yeah, Nailed It LLC. So I pivoted a little bit myself. Been praying on it super hard about how we're going to do it, how we're going to move in this season, because as most people, and it's funny because still some people don't even know that I don't work in Virginia anymore. But I just had somebody reach out the other day to me and ask me if I was working in Virginia. But I just feel like God's pulling me in a different direction, and we're going to honor that by, you know what I mean, stepping out on faith and just going in a different direction. Maybe not necessarily all the way pivoting from the automotive, not necessarily all the way pivoting from the automotive space, but just pivoting in a way that, you know what I mean, sets my family up, just like my brother did, for the long haul, for the long run. But yeah, so that's the big announcement. What we did is we set up an LLC so that way we could basically set up the shop so we could start printing the t-shirts, all of the equipment, and I'm gonna start filming some of that, like almost like a little video vlog, but and let you guys know how that goes, setting it up. And it's funny because my brother has his own manufacturing company, but I wanted to do it soup to nuts. I wanted to do it from point A to Z, and it may not be the best way, who knows, but we're going to, you know what I mean? I've come up with some great designs. I've come up with some great logos that I feel like exemplify the brand that I'm trying to accomplish. Moving forward. So I'm going to go ahead and, without further ado, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to thank a few people that thank a few people that are on here. I see. Let's see who we got watching. I see we got my wife watching. We've got Karen Morgan, Jordan Ashley. What's going on? Renee Suarez. Oh, Doc Watson in the building. What's up, brother? Elizabeth Lorraine went to high school with her. Well, we went through most grades together. But we're going to take a quick break, and then I will be right back to bring in the CEO of Keep Chasing Clothing Brand. I want to thank you guys. If you could take 5 seconds, share this out, because what he's going to bring tonight is a little bit different. We're not going to talk about just the journey. We're going to talk about some real tangible stuff that you get into when you are a CEO of a company. Okay. All righty, welcome back. It is your favorite guy, Demetrius Naylor, and I am here to bring you the CEO and president of Keep Chasing Clothing Brand, my brother. It's almost at this point, he's almost about to become my mentor in this t-shirt game. What's going on? Thad J in the building.
Bro, what's the deal? How you making out?
Okay. Oh, there you go. Turn down your phone.
No, what it is my. All right. How is it now?
You got a little bit of a lag. I'm gonna take you out and I'm gonna bring you right back in. So working through some technical difficulties. Bear with us.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's a little bit better.
I don't know why it's like that.
Yeah, I don't either. It might be the wet.
How's the weather up there?
Man, it's crazy because you could feel it's getting ready to storm. But we got all this. What do they call it? Saharan particulates in the air. So we got there is sand in the air from the Saharan desert that's been traveling over the United States. So we got that going on. But otherwise, what is going on, my brother? Just so we can recap, everybody who doesn't know who you are, basically, if you'll go ahead and tell everybody what you do, who you are, and you know what I mean. Go ahead and let them know.
As y'all know, I'm pretty sure my brother has let y'all know. Hold on 1 second. I'm just sharing out the link. Bear with me, y'all.
Yes, sir.
1 second.
While he shares it out, make sure y'all share it out too. Make sure you let everybody else know that we are live, that we are going to talk to a true entrepreneur. I'm not talking about somebody who acts like an entrepreneur, who wants to look like an entrepreneur. We're talking to somebody who's actually an entrepreneur, who lives and breathes and eats this every single day. I think, have you ever had one real 9-to-5 job, and that lasted for like a very brief period? We're going to touch on that tonight, why he left that environment and why sometimes that itch, that feel, that like tug at your soul, like a lot of times you can't explain it, but that tug at your soul, why it is the best for you to sometimes chase that all the way until you can't chase it anymore, because you might be missing out. Like, you don't want to be 45, 50 years old. And I'm not saying that's young, because Gary Vee will sit there and tell you that you're still young and this and that. But what I'm telling you is you do not want to turn around and get away from that and say, 50 years old, just getting started, you know what I mean, chasing my dream. Step out on faith and do what you got to do. But I'll let you talk. Carry it away.
Yeah, man. I'm y'all know my name is Thad J. First and foremost, I'm from Philly. To the core. I'm really big on that. Actually saying that, because being in Mississippi for the past 4 years, did we lose him? Did I get lost?
I'm still here. I was just letting you talk.
Oh, okay. Do your thing. Let me get the stage there. No, but
Go ahead, give your intro so that way everybody focuses on you, and that way we talking to you and you let them know what you've done and what you've been up to.
Okay, yeah, I'm from Philly, man. I kind of got caught up in what's actually going on out here, but I'm born and raised in Philly, like I stated on the last the part one. Um, moved to Mississippi once I came to school in 2012. Yeah, ended up going back home for a brief period, and then realized the city is kind of bad, so said let me go ahead and take my talents down south on my LeBron drink. But yeah, man, I'm just trying to motivate, inspire, encourage um, a generation, man, because right now everything is so lost. But that's what keep chasing is, man. It's just for people that have a dream of any kind, any size. Mine started off as just strictly basketball. Basketball was the end all be all. That was just it for me. It was strictly just basketball, and that was that's all I thought. I thought the world was just that big, and you know um that was it. But now seeing that the world is bigger than just basketball, 94 feet. You know what I mean? It just opened my eyes to so much more, man. I'm a business owner, multiple, two, three business owners now, two or three businesses now. But yeah, man, let's get into it.
So last week we talked a lot about like what's your journey going through being a Harlem Globetrotter. I mean, we always forget to bring that up. He was a Harlem Globetrotter, played professional ball, been to 5, 7, 8 countries now, traveled the world playing basketball. Now, let's get into talking about, and I briefly touched on it.
Is that music loud?
Yeah,
Hey, man, that's loud. Can you turn down something?
but no worries. So I briefly touched on it right when we first got started. We started talking about how you briefly had a regular 9 to 5. You worked at Verizon, am I correct? And
Yeah.
how long did that last? That didn't last super long.
I started Verizon in, was it April? May of 2017. And it was over in December of 2017. That was it. But in that brief time, I was really good at what I did. I was offered store management positions, assistant district manager. I was literally the number one salesman in the country. Stats speak for themselves. I was doing things that were, unheard of in such a small area. And I figured, if I just jump into my own lane, putting that energy into myself, into my own business versus helping build somebody else's empire, I said, well, look, it made way more sense to do that than what I was doing.
I like that. So you said something very key right there. You said building somebody else's empire. You
Right.
said that you were sitting there, and it only lasted for a span of what's that, 8 months? You worked there a span of 8 months. During that 8 months, what were you doing to get ready to make the leap? Like, because there were some things that you did during that time that everybody was like, "What are you doing? You doing what?" Like, what were some of the things that you did initially before you said, "You know what, I'm done"? Because I remember me and you having that conversation. You're like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I got to go this way. And I was like, okay. And we briefly touched on that last week. I was one of the naysayers. I was like, man, you got a 9 to 5, like, you know what I mean? Because I've been a blue collar 9 to 5 kind of worker, been in the automotive space since 2010.
And
A
I
lot
want
of
to, and not to cut you off, but I always tell people, like, being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. It's not. You know what I mean? The security side of it is really a big thing because a lot of people need that security. They've seen their parents go without, they've been without themselves. They couldn't do certain things because they didn't have that security, or their parents didn't have that security. So what it did ultimately was it allowed me to see how hard I was actually going to go for me and for my family, first and foremost, for my children. You know what I mean? If you're not going to go hard for yourself, like every time it says, what is your why? You know what I mean? My why was, more important than, sleep. It was more important than, taking time off or days off. I remember at Verizon, I worked like 30 days straight, 40 days straight or something like that at a point of time. And people looked at me like I was crazy. Like, yo, like, what's wrong with you? Like, you coming into work on Sundays, Tuesdays when you off, you covering people's shifts. People want to call out. You're like, cool, I'll take it. Because we had like a group, and I'm like, I is bigger than me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not coming to work to necessarily fend for myself. Like, I got, Kalani and Taj to fend for, you know what I'm saying? Making sure they cool by the grace of God, you know what I mean? Like, and that was like really my thing. Like, that was the biggest thing for me. But yeah, you go ahead. My fault. I mean,
No, you're good. Because a lot of people I think a lot of people get into the entrepreneurial space. Like me, this is tugged at me. Like I don't know if you got a chance to hear the announcement in the beginning, but what we did was we opened. Well, you've been a part of it. You've been walking me kind of through it. Nailed it LLC. We boom 100% lined it up. Got all the stuff to do the t-shirts. Got all the stuff to do it. You know what I mean? A lot of people are like, "You doing what?" Not done with the car business yet, but 100%. What I'm doing is I am putting my faith in something that's bigger than me. And just like you did, you said, you know what? I've got to build my own legacy. I've got to build something that's greater than me. That's not even just about me.
100%.
It's not about, this is about generational wealth. This is about breaking generational curses. And we've got them in our family. You know what I mean? Generational curses. We've got the drinking, the drug addiction, the in and out of jail, you know what I mean? All the different things. If you want to talk about a basket case of generational curses,
yeah,
we got them.
It's all in there.
It's you know what I mean?
No matter what you try to say, yo, you ain't been through this. More than likely, I'm telling you, I have.
Yeah, more than likely we have it.
Like I have.
A lot of people, you know what I mean? A lot of people, I think, discount certain people because of their age or because of their stature in life, but not realizing that you never know who you're running into. You never know what that person's been through. And like you've been through the gamut, just like I've been through the gamut. You've been through the gamut of all the different things. But at a certain point, you said, you know what, I'm going to be the first one in my family to get a degree. You know what I mean? You're the first one in our family to get the degree. You're the first one in our family to open his own business. You know what I mean? So it's breaking those generational curses and then turning around and being able to teach up the ladder, myself, being able to teach down the ladder, you know what I mean, our younger brothers, our children, you know what I mean, teach them that you don't have to do the 9 to 5. You don't have to chase after somebody else's dream because that's all you're doing. If you are not working for yourself, you're building somebody else's legacy. You know what I mean? And I just didn't want anybody to lose that in translation. The fact that takes guts, that takes balls, like that takes gusto to be able to step out and say, you know what, boom, I'm going to go ahead and do something that's greater than me. Yeah, now, absolutely. So what are some of the things, let's break it down. What are some of the things that when you are deciding to step out and do something like this, you know what I mean, that first and foremost, you know what I mean, you talked about it last week, invest in yourself. You know what I mean? What are some of the things that somebody should do to be prepared? Because I know what I've done, and I'll tell people what I've done so far, you know what I mean, to invest in myself and to get ready and be prepared to make this transition to not work for anybody anymore. What does that look like? What did that look like for you?
Well, first and foremost, what it was prayer. Like the first thing I did, I just said prayer.
Oh yeah, facts.
The first thing I did was, I just asked God for the guidance to do it. You know what I mean? For the stomach to deal with each and every lash that you're going to take. You know what I'm saying? Like I deal with a lot of it, even still to this day. You know what I mean? Just to deal with whatever comes with, what's going on. You have to be willing to persevere through it. So first and foremost, you need to have perseverance. It has to be tested. It has to be battle tested. Most importantly, it has to be um, um, basically pushed all the way to the limit to where you feel like you can't go anymore. It has to. You know what I mean? Because if it doesn't, something's going to come along the line and it's going to throw you off. And I always tell people, like, if you never contemplated giving up, I don't think you're going hard enough. Like, if you haven't sat there like, man, I'm done with this, man. Like, this is crazy. You know what I mean? I can't bear it. If you've never gotten to that point, whether it's a workout, you've done MMA, if you've never gotten to that point where you're pushing yourself so hard that you feel like you want to give up, I don't think that we're on that same level of focus. Because, like, I think the biggest thing in being an entrepreneur is your focus. You know what I mean? Setting yourself up for the long game, because longevity is what we're chasing. We're not chasing a quick $5,000, $10,000. Not when you got, people here, people there making millions of dollars a year.
No.
You know what I mean? So you can't be chasing, oh man, I got this little $5,000 check. I got this little $1,500, you know what I mean, off this profit that I made off of. That can't be what you're chasing. So my thing is, like, you have to have focus. Most importantly, perseverance. You have to be willing to, go through the fire, man. You have to be willing to go through it, man. Like, ask yourself, really, don't make an impulsive decision, to just jump out there, because I'm telling you, you will get slapped with reality. And it's a serious thing, man. Like, people don't take it that serious, but that reality hits you.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people, they get the wrong idea of what the entrepreneur looks like, because we've seen so many of we've went through so many of the fake Lamborghini posts and the, you know what I mean? I'm grinding. We've seen so much of that when, you know what I mean? I remember when I was cutting my teeth in the car business, 3 months straight, I didn't take a day off. And I'm talking about Monday through Sunday, our dealership was open. You know what I mean? But I was chasing a certain level of success. But when that success, there's nobody paying you. It's just you paying yourself.
Yes, sir.
There's got to be times that you look back and you were like, you know what? Like you said, I don't want this. Maybe I don't want it. Not that I don't want this. Maybe I don't want this as bad as I thought I wanted this, because it gets real. It gets a little scary. It gets a little hairy. But you said perfect. You said that you have to have something that brings you back, and we know yours is basketball. You attribute the things that you talk about are about basketball and how that centered you and how that brings you back in your workouts. You know what I mean? And ladies and gentlemen, don't get it twisted. You know what I mean? My man works out like a monster. Like, I've worked out with the dude.
Came from working out. That's what took me so long. On top of getting my computer and stuff together, I was just coming from working out.
You still wiping down?
Yeah, that's right. I'm still sweating from hopping in the shower. Like, I'm trying to control it by drinking this water. Nothing's helping.
Yeah, like, I was on a live a week and a half ago. Did the same thing, working out with Maurice, and nothing helped. I promise you, nothing helped. I was sitting there soaking wet with a towel. I was like, all right, you just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah, you got to deal with the sweat going.
But you know what I mean? A lot of people will say, you know what I mean, that they want this, but they don't want to put that long-term effort into it. They want that quick, what we call, you know what I mean, in the streets, that quick flip. They want that quick money. They want that overnight success. But it doesn't look like that. So you said prayer, perseverance. What's the next thing?
Focus.
Talk to me about focus.
Your focus has to be, you have to have tunnel vision, you know what I mean? Because it's something that I always preach to my son, you know what I mean? Because when we're working out, he's 6. My son is only 6. So he decided maybe 7 months ago, he just told his mom, like, I want to play basketball. Like, me and her just jumping for joy, like, yeah, because she could play too. So it's like, yeah. So now it's like, that was like, okay, let's get it. To me, like, it was like, okay, let's do it. So now when we're working out and we're running, I'll see him look over I can see out of my, my peripheral. I see him looking at me. And I'm like, yo, don't look at me. You better look forward. That's the only thing that you should see is finishing. Don't focus on me. Focus on ahead, because once you get to doing this, you lose focus on what you're supposed to be doing. And I'm using that as an example. But it's just it all ties into each other, because what it does is it allows you to understand the severity of losing focus. You ever were running before and you something gets your eye and you end up stumbling, tripping, falling for some. You know what I mean? So if you don't have that focus, laser focus, extreme focus, it's imperative that you have that focus, because if not, anything is liable to happen to make you lose it, whether it's temptation from money, social, like, don't confuse success with necessarily income.
Talk about that part right there.
Just because you're making a lot of money, that doesn't mean that you're successful, because at the end of the day, you're still if you get to a certain level of money and you feel comfortable, we can't have the same. We're not in the same
level.
We're not in the same league, because my mind isn't on the money aspect of it, because I'm not trying to be rich. Jay-Z said, in part of my French, fuck rich, let's get wealthy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to be wealthy. I need my great grands to benefit off of this across my chest.
Generational wealth.
Generational. You know what I'm saying? So if you're focusing on the generation to come, then
hold on. We got a great question here. Hey guys, if you have any questions for my brother, if you have any questions for him, ask. You know what I mean? We got one right here. It says, are you born with that level of focus, or can it be, I'm sure they want to say, can it be developed? And you know what I mean? I'll tell you, like, for me, before he answers, I'll tell you, like, I have a focus that is almost laser focused, to the point where my family is over here, everyone else is over here, and it's me one-on-one. I'm trying to be the best. But before we answer this question, I don't want to skip over the fact that he said that money does not equal success. Because, and you also got to ask yourself, what level of success are you chasing? What are you chasing? Because, like, for some people, they want time with their family and not have to be able to, and that's why they don't work for anybody else, because they recognize that as long as I put enough of this money, whether it be $2,000, $3,000, $1,000,
yes, sir,
enough money in that pot every month, they can have unlimited amount of time with their family. If they work 3 days a week, they get 4 more with their family. That's what it's about for some people.
Yep.
I fell in love at an early age in the car business. It's almost intoxicating. That's all I really know is the car business. It's intoxicating. My brother's seen them. I fall in love with the paycheck. I've been chasing the paycheck as long as I can ever remember. You know what I mean? But there was always this, like, I'm never satisfied. Right. And I could never put a name on it because I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know how to feed that feeling. That feeling is called fulfillment. Exactly. That feeling is intrinsic. No dollar, and I've made some hefty paychecks. There's no dollar in the world that will change the feeling that I had when I hit the click button, when it was, now it's all mine now. Me and my families. You know what I mean? The first conversation I had with my brother was, hey, I got this t-shirt company. How much is it going to cost me to produce a shirt? You know what I mean? Let's partner. You know what I mean? And it wasn't immediately like, oh yeah, let's partner. It was immediately like, what are you trying to accomplish? Like, putting it into perspective. Like, what are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to do? Like, let's pump the brakes. Let's create a plan. Like, what are you trying to do? But let's go back to that question though. He said, we'll put it back up on the screen. He said, are you born with that level of focus, or can it be developed? What's your answer?
I believe that I don't think necessarily certain behaviors in that aspect of the mental you're born with, because you can, like Kobe, God rest his soul, he was better than everybody in Philly.
Yeah.
He was already better. But where the separation came was once he began exhausting everything. When you're willing to exhaust every single thing on your craft each and every day, 2 hours after practice, an hour before practice, coming in later when practice is over. You know what I mean? Off days, there's no such thing.
After
You know what
the
I mean?
game.
So it's not that you can't be born with it, but I think that to get to a certain level, it has to be developed. You know what I mean? We're all born with something.
Yeah.
How is it going to necessarily be pulled out of you?
Mm.
You know what I mean? What's going to pull that focus, that laser focus? Now, people have their focus, you know what I mean, where you may have to study for a test. So, you know what I mean? Like, but the separation in getting 100, and getting a 92 is the laser focus.
Ooh.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that separation is what's going to make you or is going to break you.
That
And
8 degrees of separation.
walk around. That's how I carry life. It's like, what is going to separate? Is it going to separate me by waking up at 10:30 a.m. or getting up at 6 a.m., which is 4 hours earlier than what I'm just going to wake up on just a wake up? Or do I allow myself to go to sleep at 1:30, 2 o'clock every night and wake right back up, meditate, pray, and let's hit the ground running every day?
Every single day.
Every day. What's going to separate that? This morning, I take that back. This morning, I had to sleep in. It was just one of those days. So,
it's the Lord day.
What is going to separate you from being just average? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to be average or are you going to be outstanding? You know what I mean? Or extraordinary, rather.
Now, when it's like, so in the automotive industry, we always say you either got the juice or you don't. Like, you either got it or you don't. Like, so I view it as one of those things where, like, it's gotta be a 70-30 split. There's gotta be a certain level of automatic, like, this is me, this is what I want, this is what I'm chasing, this is what I'm getting after. There's gotta be 70% of that. There's 70% of it that's gotta come from in here. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's 30% of it that can be trained, that can be developed. Like, I even as good as I am at sales, I feel like I always tell people I can sell Ray to a roach. But even as good as I feel like I am, I still, you know what I mean, read books on leadership, sales tactics, you know what I mean, Dichotomy and Leadership, great book, by the way. You know what I mean? There's so many great books. Never Split the Difference, Hostage Negotiator. But I mean, there's so many great books out there. You Can't Hurt Me, for motivation by what's his name? The Navy SEAL, David Goggins. You know what I mean? There's so many different things, like, of honing your craft. There's so many different things that you can attribute that 30% to, like 1%, 10% of it being that, like, you're practicing your craft and you're honing your craft every day. The other 10% can be the fact that you create a regimen or a routine. Like you said, you get up every day at a certain time and you start with meditation and then motivation and then getting after it. And then there's another 10% that I think that you can create, like schedules and lists and you know what I mean? Some people are list people. I used to hate my ex-wife for list. I'm talking about, like, hate my ex-wife for list. You know what I do now? Especially like that. I write list. You know what I mean? Because lists help you, you know what I mean, when you forget. You can't remember everything. So lists will help you. But I also think, though,
you should see my alarm clock is like that.
Yeah, there's 70%. Yep, so many different alarms set for different things. But I also think that there's something in you that you cannot be taught. Like, our work ethic above our peers, around one of our peers, is probably like our peers are here, and then me and you probably work up here. Like, I work in the car business this way. Like, everybody knows me. I'm first in, last out. 100 miles an hour. My wife has gotten used to the fact that I just don't take days off.
Like, it becomes a normalcy.
Yeah, like that 110 becomes like a normalcy, whereas other people are like, they got to push themselves like 110 miles an hour just to get to that 100%. But, like, we operate at such a high level. So what should somebody be looking for in themselves prior to, and I'll get back to the list because we already had prayer, we had perseverance, and then we have focus, but we'll get back to that list. But what should somebody else be looking for in themselves before making that leap? Like, what kind of habits should they have, you know what I mean, instilled in themselves or trained, like you said? What should they have before making that leap?
In the entrepreneurial sense, most importantly, you have to be a leader. You can't be afraid to make the hard decisions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of hard decisions in this business. A lot of hard decisions in this business. But if you're willing and you're the person that people usually come to make these hard decisions, then obviously you're a leader and you're one that, you know, has the mental capacity to make in Kevin Hart's voice, the executive decisions. You know what I'm saying? And as y'all know, I might always always Philly people in there all the time. But yeah, if you're able to make those executive decisions, you know, you have some people that like to lead from behind the scenes. Me personally, put me on the forefront. I don't mind being the face of this thing. You know what I mean? I don't mind being the face of this thing, the author, the illustrator, the writer, the stenographer, put me in the positions that if it needs to be done and it has to be, that's okay. Hustle Man. That's my cousin right there, right? That's our cousin. Early on, and
we are related.
Yeah, I don't want to switch, but early on, I used to go. He played Division II football. Craziest work ethic I've probably ever seen outside of myself, right?
Yeah.
I'm 12, 13. He's running 7-8 miles like it's nothing, but he's timing it like he's running from across the city to another city to the other part of the city, timing it like, oh, I got to get back by this time. And I'm like, this is nuts. We're running through tracks and through terrain and all. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. But what he instilled in me at 11, 12, 13, when he's 22, 23, 20, was as long as you work hard, everything else going to fall into place. Just do your work.
Oh, everybody knows what Demetrius says. Do the work. Do the work.
Now, I always tell him this on his birthdays, Father's Days, just random times. Yo, this is the person that really honed my hard work because I seen it. Like, this isn't me like watching it on TV every Tuesday or something like, yo, this dude is great. This is every single day, face to face. Yo, cuz we're going to the track. And I'm like, yo, I can't. This dude is nuts. But as time went on, it developed something in me. Like he said, it's definitely developed because it truly is. But back to what I was saying, the leadership, man, you have to be willing to lead. You cannot be afraid to say no. That's one of the biggest things in business. People are definitely afraid to tell people no.
There's a great quote out there that says Fortune 500 or the top 10% of all CEOs say no more than they say yes to everything.
You have to be willing to separate business from personal. Also, you have to be willing to separate the business aspect of something from your personal aspect. Prime example, I was just in a photo shoot with my kids. This is a 9, 8, and 6-year-old.
Yeah,
I'm talking to them like complete strangers because it's a focus that we need. Because if not, this money that we're putting out for this shoot and all is all going to be irrelevant if the pictures come out and everybody's doing this and you know what I mean. So it's a focus. You have to be willing to lead. It's not personal. You understand what I'm saying? It's business. Now, when the CEO switch gets clicked off and daddy mode is in, now I'm the most loving, caring, you know what I mean, soft person in the world. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to my daughters. You know what I mean? But other than that, it's just like, it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be willing to lead. You cannot be afraid to say no. You have to be willing to step up to the forefront and make the tough decisions, man. That's one of the biggest things in business. Making decisions that can either hurt or gain in your business. You're gonna take some losses. You know what I mean? Let's not act like I ain't took losses. You know what I'm saying? $1,000 losses, putting my money into this thinking, yo, this is it. And I'm still
it's one.
Yo, I know these. I got some Scully right now that I sat on for a year. Like, I just knew that was gonna be a banger, but you just, sometimes it don't work like that. And that's that you have to be willing to take. And a lot of people aren't really willing to, do that. So they rather, be behind the scenes and not really say nothing. So when the chips fall, it's not on them. I don't mind taking it. Put it on me. You know what I'm saying? Yo, man, we're gonna move over here. We're gonna do this, that to the third. Why are we going over there? Booby said, let's do it. All right, we out.
That's something that I've been trying to. So I just got done reading that, and that was the book I was trying to remember. When you said that, that reminded me. Extreme Ownership. That was the book. It's by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. Extreme Ownership, and then Dichotomy of Leadership is the second one that they wrote. If you ever get a chance, Extreme Ownership is basically just saying, like, in all things, I'm going to own this. My success, like what I get tired of in this, you know what I mean, as I'm getting started, and as I'm, you know what I mean, and don't get like, listen, everybody's been talking to me about this, like, and asking, like, oh, what's, you know what I mean, what's Nailed It LLC? I've been researching this t-shirt company deal
for some time.
Since my brother started this. I have, you know what I mean, have just been addicted to the money of the automotive industry. Like, our money is disproportionate to the rest of America. Like, so it is.
I ain't lying.
It is hard. Yeah, my brother's seen the checks. So it is hard for me to say, like, okay, I'm going to go work for myself, and sometimes maybe that month not be able to do anything but pay the bills when I'm so used to living this lifestyle. Like, me and my wife talk about it all the time, love her to death. You know what I mean? She tells me, like, you know what I mean, it's not always about the money. And I'm like, what do you mean? Money makes the world go round. Money makes all the stuff that you love, and all of this beautiful house and our beautiful children, you know what I mean, have all the nice and wonderful things that they want in the world. But at the end of the day, like, as I kept letting that thing, it started eating away at me. And it started getting my performance at my jobs, because I wasn't getting that intrinsic fulfillment that I needed. For somebody who's like, there are people that you are going to run across. Let me just put this out there flat out, that are flat out entrepreneurs. They should never work for anybody. My brother's one of them. I'm learning that about myself. Like, when I take Extreme Ownership, the book, they talk about, like, and always be accountable. And I just realized, like, I've wanted this thing for so long. I've done I'm talking about, like, my wife didn't even understand. Like, I'm explaining to her about the t-shirt business, and she didn't even understand it. And I'm like telling her, like, yo, we need to do this. We need to do this. And, you know what I mean? Breaking it down to her. And then, like, just got another offer for another job. And like, we're sitting here, like, praying about, like, what should we do? Should we continue pivoting and continue along that path and say, you know what, we got enough money in the bank. This is going to hurt for a month or two, maybe 3 months, maybe the year, but we can make it to the point where that is the next question I want to ask you. How long was it, and how many mistakes did you have to get to a place where you're profitable? Because you've been in business for what, since
5 years? Well, it'll be 5 years in October.
So 2015, that's right. Because I remember, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, I have I think it's one of the first, very, very first.
You had V first.
Yes, I had V first.
You had V first hoodie and
t-shirt. And them t-shirts both still exist, and the hoodie. I'm just a little heavier than I used to be. That's why I'm glad the camera's up here. But I'm working on it. I'm back in the gym. So what and how long did it take to become profitable? Because I think that's another misconception that a lot of people have too, is the fact that you got this killer idea. And I'm talking about, like, I've had heavyweight disciples, and you know what I mean? I was going to go with the consultant, but, you know what I mean, my marketing manager was like, we need to change that. So I've had the consultant for years and heavyweight disciples for the last 2.5 years. And I haven't made a penny from it. How long did it take for you to make money from your brand?
Well, initially, I was doing it for the short money. Those were due. got a little refund check. Let me jump out there with this, 2,200 and see how we can, flip this to get rent money. It took, let's say, to actually see real profit, it took maybe like 2-3 years.
Okay.
To actually see like my money, like, yo, we can do whatever we want for real. Yo, what you want to do? We out. You know what I mean? But it took, I'm gonna say like maybe like 2 or 3 years of just trial and error. I don't think more so like I was taking, I wasn't putting in enough. I think it was more so like trying different logos, because if I just show you the logos that I went through, trying to figure out what's best until I got to this, which was maybe like summer of 2019, I got to this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, simplicity wins.
I remember us having that conversation.
Craziest logos. I'm like, yo, people are like, yo, what the hell does that say? And I'm like, yo, it makes sense because this right here is one of the first logo right here, right? Keep chasing. That's actually me, and that's actually me right there in the gym. You know what I mean? So I got it black and white, got the color dropped out of it. My brother actually did it for me. And I was like, yo, I like that. So let's put it on a t-shirt. Ooh, everything was good. But people were kind of like, yo, I don't play basketball. What am I gonna do if I don't hoop? Like, it gotta be another way for you to go about this. And then I was like, man, so that was it's just a learning experience. It took probably like 2 or 3 years for me to actually be able to put money out from the profit that I've made. You understand what I'm saying? But one thing in entrepreneurial movements and things that you have to do, you have to spend money
to make
money. Jump in the lane of high quality. Okay? High quality over everything else.
Yep.
You may not be able to afford 100 sweatsuits of high quality. 25 to jump out there and have high quality is cool.
Yep.
Longevity. Now you can do a short game and do 100 poor quality joints, and then your reviews are going to be bad. I tell people all the time, go to my business pages, leave reviews. Yo, I love the quality. If you look right there, Xavier bought some stuff for his kids when I first started 4 years ago. I still see them shirts to today. You know what I'm saying? Like years ago. I thought like he came. I had an invoice for him. There's no website or nothing. Yo, I got an invoice for you. He like, yo, I got this cash for you. He bought it for me as I was in the gym. I'm not lying. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was in the gym working out. He bought me cash money with his 2 sons, and boom. You know what I'm saying? And they still have these shirts 4 years later.
Yeah, because I mean, we just had this conversation because I was like, oh, what shirt should I get? This and that. You were like, listen. So then listen. My wife was like, we got the banknote the other day. She was like, what did you spend $50 on? I was like, oh, I bought the Bella canvas. I bought the
time for a meeting. My bad.
I bought the Bella canvas. I bought the Bella canvas shirts, and she was like, what? Why did you get the best quality ones? I was like, because what we're not going to do is we're not going to start out with a trash product and then try and scale it from there. We are going to, like I told her, I was like, even if I've got to turn around and do it by the order and tell them like, hey, listen, I'm going to give you perfect quality. Give me an extra 3 days. I'd rather do that, get the stuff in, because what we're doing is we're doing the plastisol heat transfers, which is the exact same thing as screen printing, but it just comes in one block. They print the image for me. I put it on thing, done. It's just like a screen print. This is a vinyl. But you know what I mean? It's just like and I'm talking about like, this is till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning doing my homework, YouTube videos, Googling, reading a book. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like, I've done more homework on this project than anything else, but quality. You know what I mean? My brother hit a good topic right there, because that's what I did. And she was like, $50. And we just got like
quality over quantity, man. Like, you want to jump out there with the highest quality that you can afford, that you can. I'm not saying you let your bills get out of hand. No, that's not what I'm saying. Is be smart. What I'm saying is you want to you want to sacrifice.
Yeah.
I got that tattoo somewhere. Sacrifice is actually one of my first tattoos. Sacrifice and dedication. I live by those things. You understand what I'm saying? Like you have to be dedicated and you have to be willing to sacrifice. Once again, it goes back to making those executive decisions that people are petrified to make.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Good friend of mine told me straight up, like, yo, I'd rather play the back. I don't want nothing to do with the limelight or nothing. And it's not the limelight that I'm attracted to, it's the smiles. The yo, man, this feel dope, man. Yo, man, yo, you look good, man. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
that's what I get it. That's what I like. So that's where the high quality, you know what I mean, aspect of things come from. That's where I get my rush is from the response
Yeah.
from the customers and stuff like that. That's the biggest thing.
We salesmen at heart, because ultimately that's why I sold cars. That's why I've sold cars for as long as I've sold cars in whatever capacity it may be, being the manager, being, the top manager, being the lowly car salesman. It doesn't matter. No position is greater than the other, but that is why I stayed in that business for so long, because you cannot replace that smile that you put on somebody's face when you hand them a finished product that you had in selling them. And you know what I mean? It's just, you can't beat that feeling. All right, so we had prayer, perseverance, focus. I want to give them 5 tonight. So what's number 4? Top 5 things we're talking about tonight. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about top 5 things as an entrepreneur you need to either look out for, you need to be doing, you need to be expecting. And you know what I mean? We're talking to the owner and president of of Keep Chasing Clothing Company, as you see on his shirt. He's been in business since 2015. We talked about it earlier. Only had a regular 9-to-5 job for about, I want to say, 8-9 months. We're talking to him about the fact that ultimately there is a certain level of prayer, perseverance, focus. He's going to give us the next one real quick, but I did want to hop on here and talk to you guys just for one-on-one for a second and just tell you that this journey is not for the faint of heart. It is not for, I'm just going to try and do this. I'm just going to start this. Keep your regular job and make this a side hustle then. Don't leave, quit, whatever your job, if you're not going to be all in. So what we're going to talk about now is we're going to go to topic number 4. And Thad's going to talk to us about what's his number 4 and why it's important to him as an entrepreneur, somebody who lives this. I'm talking about like no regular job. There's no safety net. There's no, I'm going to fall back on somebody else. This is him 100% saying, I'm going to do this. I don't care what happens.
You have to be transparent.
Oh, okay. Talk to me about transparency.
You have to be transparent because, and I mean that in the way, like, you cannot be afraid to lose out and admit, like I just did with the hat situation.
Yeah,
extremely afraid to say, "Yo, that didn't work." Yo, man, we thought we had something, but that wasn't it right there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like when you called me the other day and you stepped away from your job or whatever. And I'm like, that's it. Because you realized that it did not work. You wanted it to work. I was about to come up there. You know what I'm saying? I was on the way, actually.
Yeah.
And you have to be transparent to yourself. Like you have to be comfortable with who you see in the mirror. A lot of us aren't. You know what I mean? You have to be cool when you look in the mirror and it's just you in that bathroom, in that room, and you pull up your camera on your phone. You have to be cool with the reflection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people aren't, simply because they know. And the 5th thing is do not cheat.
Ooh.
You cannot cheat this grind, this hustle, this focus, this grind is, like you said, it's not for the faint of heart at all. Trust me, man. It get times where like you gonna break down, tears, long nights turn into frustration and anger and rage, and you cannot be afraid to lose, man. Like, and again, adaptability. You have to be willing to adapt to what's going on around you. Do not follow trends.
What do you mean?
Don't follow the trends. And I use this example all the time. I just told a guy earlier this about Balmain, very expensive clothing brand. They put these jeans out, Balmain jeans. I actually have a pair. The Balmain jeans were very expensive. You can get them for up to $1,500, right? You jump out there, you grab these Balmain jeans, and you look. You're like, yo, I got these jeans. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? You're following a trend.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you've invested rent money
in a trend
into a trend that changed. Like that. Same thing goes on the entrepreneurial side. Don't jump into a lane where you're putting out, and another thing I told another guy, you're putting out shirts to match every pair of Jordans that come out. That's not going to work for you. It's not going to work.
No.
It's not going to work when you're trying to follow what's going on in today's society, because things switch. So that would have worked 50 years ago.
Yeah.
30 years ago. There's no social media. There's no, you can't, unless you see it on TV, you're not going to see it. Now, new trend.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
Yeah.
You got this on, you corny. Do something that's going to last for a long time. One of my biggest, the biggest things that I look at is polo. I don't care what year it is.
Still relevant.
I don't care how old you get.
Still relevant.
If you see that horse, you know what time it is.
Still relevant.
To this day.
Yes, sir.
I don't care where you at, who you with, how old you are, how young you are. Everybody recognize that horse. Yep. I don't even know what's on the horse. I don't know if it's one or two people. You recognize that horse, though.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying by not following trends. Stick to your guns. Stick to your stick to. Stay focused on your focus.
Now, you talked about something, and ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. I never want to keep you for a long time. I always say that to you guys, but we're talking about something right here that's we're just not going to hop off in the middle of. Shoot, sounds like we're going to have to do a part 3, but we're going to run over. We're going to talk. So what you talked about something, you said, listen, don't be afraid to admit when you failed. You know what I mean? Like if you've messed up in a design or you've messed up and you recognize that doesn't work. Is there a certain level of, you know what I mean? I see this so often, you know what I mean? We're going to touch on this, but is there a certain level of like grassroots, like giveaway projects that you got to do in this kind of business?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually working on something like that right now. I'm calling them influencer packages, where I'm spending my money through my company. I'm putting together little packages for, the social media influencers.
Yeah.
People with a huge following. You have to be willing to give things out. That's a loss. That's a sacrifice. You have to make that sacrifice if you want to succeed.
It's also a write-off, by the way.
It's exactly. It's all good. Even though at the moment it's like, oh my goodness, this gonna cost me $600. But the return, longevity, again, let me tap into that one more time. Longevity, again, if you're thinking of playing the long game versus the short 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards. If you're talking about 100-yard joints every time, then we can have conversation. Because if you're not willing to give out 25 t-shirts, why should people buy 25 t-shirts from you? You know what I'm saying? Why would I spend my money on something I don't know how it feels? I don't know how it looks. I don't know if it's going to hold up in the washing machine. I don't know what's going to happen if I actually buy this. You know what I'm saying? So I was about to say that. It popped up on the screen. Your advertising has to be, yo, look, I give you a t-shirt. I know you're going to come back. Because where that one t-shirt is, I know you're going to want the black one. It's a red one. I also got a blue one. I got a white one for you too.
Yes, sir.
Oh, not only that, we changed the color of the logo.
Now, a lot of people will say, and I'm gonna pop this bad boy on. TikTok real quick. But a lot of people will say that it takes money to make money, but like you've got to be able to be willing, like he said, to give away a product that you believe in, so that way people will believe in it enough to buy it. Like when we talk about it takes money to make money, that's sweat equity. Somebody said that earlier.
Yep, sweat equity.
Or monetary equity. That's like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm going to actually give you dollars and cents influencer package, but you cannot do I told my wife this the other day. There is no such thing as popping up and you think you got the hottest design out there and just putting it out there and expecting somebody to buy it. You know what I mean? It doesn't work like that. So I want you to talk to people about that too, because you know what I mean? How long before you advertise them? Because we just saw Tank on your timeline. You know what I mean? So like how long and how much did you give away? Did you think? And then we're also going to touch on the fact that a lot of people think that you owe them something, or that you should be giving them something, or that at a certain point that they should get a discount when they didn't ask Walmart for a discount. So we're going to talk about that in just a second. But how long did it take for you giving product away, taking pictures? Shoot, one of the first times you talked about it the other day, one of the first times that you ever gave or sold products, you did it at an HBCU homecoming?
Homecoming, yeah, absolutely. That's like,
I'm talking about like that's out of the trunk, like that's Philly style right there. All right, print it up. Hey man, we got to get this money together. I got to get $500 together so I can get together. You know what I mean? 65 of these shirts. You know what I mean? Get together 65 of these shirts. Boom. I don't know what the translation. I'm just using the number, but get together these shirts and then boom, we're gonna just from the muscle. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna sell these shirts.
We're gonna flood the market with them.
Yeah.
Well, flood the yard. Let me say that.
Yeah, flood the yard. But yeah, talk to us about that.
I think that ultimately, when it comes down to, I look at it just like any other selling business, whether it's in the streets, whether
we being real and we being raw. I mean, like let's keep it 100 with them.
You was about to say let's keep it a bean too. People have been like a bean.
Yeah, exactly. I had to correct myself.
But yeah, it's just like being in the streets, man. I was in the streets years back before I started thinking, and it all ties into each other. If you have good product, it will sell itself.
Okay, so you're saying if you got good product, naturally it's just gonna sell itself. But
absolutely,
I get that. But at what point do you have to turn around and you have to say like, all right, I've got to do this in order to make it work?
Oh yeah, that's that sacrifice that I'm talking about though.
Okay.
If you have that hustling mentality, just to hustle and try to put something together, I think that it can definitely work out. Like you have to be willing to give away 10 shirts to sell 20 shirts. You have to be willing to give out 5 hoodies to sell 10 hoodies.
Okay.
You have one of the first hoodies. Another friend of mine has one of the first hoodies. From you put. Oh, where did you get that from, Demetrius? You're working out. You're in the gym every morning, 6 o'clock. I think your pastor ordered one. I think another one of your friends ordered one. This is all word of mouth.
Yeah.
All it takes is a post on social media these days. That's it.
Yeah.
It don't take no time for you to spread a word. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So if you're not willing to put out there something for free,
Yeah.
another reason I always bring up Eric Thomas, he gives away all his content for free. Now you're yearning, you crave going to go watch him, see the whole. I want to see the whole thing. I want to see all of it now, not just a little 10-minute clip. I'm trying to see all of it.
Xavier Black says, "Why are people willing to purchase your product over a competitor's?"
Yeah, because I go high quality. I have the best pricing with the highest quality. So if I'm able to give out the best, and one of my favorite movies is American Gangster. Forget the drug part, forget the jail part, the snitching part.
Yeah.
We went to the source.
Yes.
I went to the source.
Yes, sir.
I acquired a company.
Yes, sir.
Okay? He went to the source in the jungle with a tiki hat on a boat and got the best product, better than everybody, and sold it for cheaper than everybody.
Yeah. Killed the market.
Now the market is messed up.
Yeah.
But who is reaping from the market being messed up?
Yep.
The person that did the ultimate sacrifice. It took money for me to buy into the company that I own now. Yep. I had to get 10 orders, 11 orders, 12. I had to get orders from my manufacturers first for them to take me serious. So I said, yo, I'm going to take the highest quality. Yo, man, it's going to take me this much to make a hoodie. It's going to take this much. Cool, let's do it.
Yep.
Now I can get a shipment in and not pay a coin for it, which is going to be, and they're like, yo, pay us when you make the money. So it's like consignment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to be willing to make the sacrifices in order to have the best that you can possibly put out. Yep. And the easiest way to, have people willing to shop with me, communication is key. But that's like second nature to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't mind talking to somebody.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so the biggest thing that I see that you did was, you pulled the ultimate Frank Lucas. You turned around and you said, you know what? Okay, Frank Lucas, like you said, take the drugs out of it, you know what I mean? But he went and got the drugs from the source. But from the jungle. But we translate that back to what you did is you said, okay, I am selling so many items. Why am I paying somebody separately for the t-shirt to get them to ship the t-shirts to the manufacturer to turn around and then have the manufacturer then print them? Then ship them to you. And that's, what I mean? And me and the wife was just talking about that too. I said, listen, we may ultimately have to turn around and what's going on, everybody so we live on TikTok too. So everybody listening to you on TikTok, but we may have to turn around and go ahead and do some of the stuff through you, because ultimately it'll be cheaper to do it that way than to turn around, buy the shirts for $7 to $8 a piece, then to buy the heat transfers for, $1.50, $2, and then turn around and sell it for $20. You know what I mean? But we got to give some of these things away first. So if I can get a bulk order, and you know what I mean? But it takes grassroots marketing. Grassroots marketing, for what people don't realize, is I have something, I give that something away. Only thing I want in return is for you to post it. What's going on? Is for you to post it and say, hey, look, I got it from X person. You know what I mean? And then, you know what I mean? Or like you're doing the influencer account. And that's truly like what I got a whiteboard. And for all you entrepreneurs out there that are talking about stepping into your own lane, write it down, make it plain. Like if you do nothing else, do you know how many times I've wiped that whiteboard down and then turned around and rewrote and then wiped it? That don't work.
Yeah, you have to keep your blueprint.
Yeah,
the details of it.
Yeah, and then turn around and recognize that when something doesn't work, you can erase it and start over. There are, as you get started in this thing we call life of the entrepreneur, there are going to be so many different things that come that you're going to have to pivot and be like, all right, that didn't work. This way. All right, that didn't work. I'm going to have to go.
Absolutely.
And you were talking about it with the skull caps. You know what I mean? People call them beanies. We call them scullies. You know what I mean? what happened there? So you ultimately you had a great idea. You put it on the beanie, and he turned around and
I had an idea for these Scullies. What I was going to do was, I see a lot of people at the time. It was cold, but you see a lot of people out with just hoods on. I'm like, yo, if I just put this Scully together, but I want it to be this specific design, like I said, we're going to do like the checkerboard on the top.
yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I can show you, but I can still talk to. I said we were going to do the checkerboard design, and in the checkerboard, what we're going to do is, we're going to just keep it basic around the flip, but the checkerboard here it is right
here. Okay.
So the checkerboard design was a really out in my mind. I thought that it was like a dope idea.
Yeah.
Not paying attention to the quality. It wasn't that the hat itself wasn't a good hat. You know what I mean? It was the quality that wasn't right. And as I said, more quality over quantity. Okay. So I got 50 of these hats, and I said, well, let me wear a couple of them. And I personally didn't even like the way that it looked, because if you pay attention closely, you'll see the logo. Yeah, and the logo is
the logo is slanted.
Yeah, the logo is going down.
Okay.
And me being a perfectionist and the stickler for
that wasn't gonna work.
No, because it's all of them are like this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that definitely ain't gonna work.
And you have some people with smaller heads, you have some people with bigger heads. And once you get to moving this, now you have all of this red right here. So it's just a trial and error. But this is I have to eat this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now, hey man, I'm just cold out here. You don't have a hat on. Here's a hat, man.
At least, and then my logo's out there.
My logo's out there.
You got to, and that's what I want people to start understanding. Like as we go, and we'll probably do Sunday night showcases with that a few more times. But what you have to realize is that like it takes money to make money doesn't necessarily always mean that it's a loss. Like you giving something away so that way your product or your brand or your image or your name gets out there, that's not always a bad thing. Like a lot of people will get misconstrued. They'll be like, oh my God, you know what I mean? I took a $5,000 loss, you know what I mean, on the major scale or at our level. Oh, I took a $500 loss on all this whole set of products. But you turn around and now you got 85 people rocking your brand, your logo. That's still money being made. That's future sales, future generation of sales being generated. And that's why I said, you know what I mean? Like they talked about in American Gangster, testers or samplers. You know what I mean? They just gave out. I'm talking about like gave out. I'm talking about probably at least $50,000 worth of crack cocaine. Just gave it away. He made millions from it. No difference. In giving away product that you make.
Or the best product, and he was willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. And I use that movie not on the negative scale that it portrays, but the business mind behind it. Because if you watch American Gangster, they had a series and they interviewed Frank Lucas. And they talked to him about how the people would say, if Frank Lucas would have used that mindset that he had to sell drugs, he could have ran a Fortune 500 business.
Oh yeah, all day long. He definitely would have crushed any kind of market. Like it's almost like the same thing with Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like he gets discredited and all these different things, but like the Wolf of Wall Street, just like Frank Lucas, just like yourself, all these people have one thing in common. They don't quit. And they find a different way to adapt. Adaptability in this game is key because you never know when something like the hats. Now, hey, boom. Oh, you ordered 5 shirts here. Here's 4 hats. Yeah, you know what I mean? 4 or 5 hats. Like I got a great idea for hats, you know what I mean, when we get off this live that we got to talk about. You know what I mean? But ultimately, there's a way through, even when it looks bad, there's still a way through this thing. And you know what I mean? So we talked about prayer, perseverance, focus, transparency, and then don't cheat. I want to end it on that one because we're about to end up here at an hour and 30. About to end up on, you know what I mean, an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 30 minutes. I want to spend the last 10 minutes about talking about not cheating yourself in the grind, because a lot of people, like I said before, when I was in the when I was still in the automotive space, I first in, last out, boom, get up at 0430, watch Rise and Grind, you know what I mean, watch some Eric Thomas, read my Bible, boom, and I be in the office. And I'm talking about like the shop doesn't open, like my store didn't open until 8:30. Turn around, work doesn't start till 9, but I'm there at 7:30 in the morning. So that's my hustle, but my grind. But what is your morning routine, morning grind look like? But when you say don't cheat it, what do you mean by that?
I mean, you can't take shortcuts. You can't take shortcuts. So I tell everybody, whether we're working out, whether we're doing schoolwork, whether we're doing posting on social media for advertisement, you cannot cut corners. It's like a bank. It's one of my favorite sayings. It's like a bank. You cannot go to the bank thinking you're going to withdraw $100 and you never put $100 in there. It's just not possible. So you cannot cheat, because once you cheat, when it's game time, all that people thought you were doing and all that in your mind you were doing, but you know you really weren't doing, it's going to show. So now when it's time for you to put out good product, you didn't do any research. You didn't get up and read. You didn't do any contact in manufacturing companies. You didn't make sure that your shirts, the logo on your shirts was straight. You just boom, 10 seconds, fold out, boom, 15 seconds out, boom. You never checked behind it because you never did the work. You never did the work. We put real work in. If I have to sit there and I can't get shirts directly from my manufacturing company within the time that I like to ship, I like to ship people stuff out within 3 to 4 days. Simply because I hate to see people have those times where they're on social media bashing businesses and entrepreneurs because they didn't get something in the time they felt they should have gotten it.
Yeah.
So what I do is I tell people, yo, don't think that you can get over on people once you have their money. So now I'm just going to take my time and
they will crucify you.
You will be crucified on social media.
Yes, sir.
And I always bring up social media because it's the most talked about thing right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's the way of the world. You know what I mean? Some people would say sadly, but I look at it like as an entrepreneur, social media is the gold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everybody got a social media. Your grandma might got a social media. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be Facebook, or TikTok, or Instagram, or Snapchat, whatever have you. But you know, all jokes aside, I think that the biggest thing with not cheating is you have to, like I said earlier, you have to look yourself in that mirror and be completely transparent with yourself, knowing you cheated.
Yeah.
Inky Johnson said, I never cheated. I never cheated.
Yeah.
With this grind, I never cheated.
Yeah.
I was in Walmart buying sweatpants and printing on them. I was getting hoodies from Gildan because that was the process that it took to get to where now, if you check now, if you look now, there is no Gildan. There is none of those things. This is a release that's about to come out too, so y'all get a sneak peek. Now,
sneak peek alert. Whoa, keep chasing. Tabs now. Sewn in tabs. Why don't you just show the whole shirt while you at it?
And this is all new release.
Oh, that thing is.
You know what I mean? Like this is sewn on here from scratch.
Oh, I like that. That's clean.
You know what I mean? And that goes all the way up to a 3X, 4X, 5X, however you need it.
How much they gonna be on sale for?
They're gonna be about, because the shorts too. Let me leave the shorts out.
Oh, okay. You got the short.
It's in the joint too.
I got you
So,
with the sneak on them.
yeah, this is all sneak peek. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody seen that color before. They seen other colorways, but you can't cheat. But I've been through that process of getting t-shirts from over here and hoodies over here, printing my logo on them, getting the screen printed, and I've done all of that.
Yeah.
It's all a part of the process to make now I feel great. Now, like the benefit of it isn't
Now you
necessarily
doing releases.
making money. It's like, yo, you're actually making progress.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like now we making progress. We bumped up. You know what I'm saying? So now, not only do you have a business that's thriving, but your business isn't thriving off of you cheating your way through it.
Yeah.
You're not cutting corners through it.
You
Now
actually
you look at yourself with pride and dignity. You didn't go against your morals, no ethics. You know what I'm saying? You're a man of dignity. You know what I'm saying? You're a man of morals, and you know what I mean. You feel good about the product that you're putting out.
yeah.
And a lot of people, you know, whether big or small, they're not really focused on the process. You know what I'm saying? They're not really focused on that aspect of it. I need to get a deal with Fiji too.
You need to, like Gary Vee says, fall in love with the process.
Fall in love with it, man. Marquita could tell you, man. She synced it, and I said synced.
With a T.
She synced it. She seen me, you know, up late hours of the night because I get a shipment of things blank and I gotta print them all up. I'm here all night folding. I'm going to her, babe. Is this straight? Please say that straight. Not straight. God, yeah, I didn't put logos on the back of stuff that belong right here. I didn't print it on the back. Remember that? I'm talking about whole sweatsuits is backwards. Now you look
cuz.
So I had to give it to her. Like you got to bite this.
you got the messed up ones.
Yeah, you got to rock with this drink, but it has to happen though. You know what I'm saying? So it's like fall in love with the process. Before we get off of here, you wanna fall in love with the process. Fall in love with making good product. Fall in love with the journey, man. It's a journey. Don't jump out there. And another thing, I'm making 6 things. Do not compare what you have going on to what somebody else is doing.
Run your own race.
Run your own race, that tunnel vision, that laser focus. Focus on your focus. Don't worry about what's going on over here. Don't worry about what's going on over there. Don't jump on social media measuring up to what everybody else has going on.
I got you.
Yes, miss.
Oh, yours too. Here, come here.
Come here, miss.
Look. Come here. Come here. Look, mine right here too. Like, are you?
Oh, it's Katie.
You're mine over here asking me when I'm gonna be done.
Walking. But run your race. Do what you feel as though is necessary. Don't cheat it. Focus on high quality and just go from there. That's the most important and most vital thing that I can tell anybody jumping into the lane. I didn't necessarily do like right now. I got an accountant. I have financial advisors. I have people that I reach out to just for spiritual uplifting and motivating. Yeah, like I'm just to make sure that I'm on track, because you may think that you're doing things right, the right way, the way that you're doing it, but there's always room to grow. Always. Never think that you know it all. You don't know it all. It's a reason why Polo been around since 18 something. And it's 2020. There's a reason.
Yes, sir.
The reason why Chanel can sell a bag for $5,500 and it be the size of my iPad. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The reason why these things are thriving and have thrived through time. It's a reason. So just make sure you run your race, stay focused, learn. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to spark a conversation with a random stranger. That random stranger might be the head of Apple or something. You never know. You know what I'm saying? You never know. Like I just so happened to be walking through the airport. Oh, my bad. Damn, this is Tank. Yo, man, let's talk. Yo, I got these hats. I got this business. Yo, let me see your business, man. Woo. We talking. Next thing you know, now my stuff is on his social media.
Yes, sir. God connects.
A simple conversation.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So just run your race, do what you got to do, stay focused, persevere through it. It's going to get hard, but just like ET said, why would you quit when you already felt the pain?
Yeah.
You felt the pain going through the tunnel. You in the tunnel now. It's light at the end of it.
You know what's so crazy? You know what's so crazy? I'm gonna drop this on here, and I didn't even talk to my wife about it. But that's the crazy thing, because I was like, I've been sitting here praying over this the whole thing, like, connection, God connects. Oh, look. Oh, she changed her profile picture. Oh, she cute now. but the crazy thing is you know what I mean? We've been sitting here, and I've been like, man, I'm all in. Got the press coming. Got the shirts are already coming in little by little by little. You know what I mean? I already lined up with a company. We got to sit down and chop it up about, like, you know what I mean, how to get mass orders out, all that stuff. But it's so crazy because a lot of people will take this journey and try and turn it into, like, take this full-time job and try and turn it into a side hustle. And
y'all make it,
you know what I mean? You got it in facts. And that's where, like, I'm kind of at right now. You know what I mean? If I'm going to be transparent, if we're going to talk about me for just 1 second, like, that's kind of where I'm at. If we're talking about, like, the beginning of the journey for me, this is the beginning of the journey. And it was so crazy that, like, we named the podcast that I'm doing The Journey, because I'm sitting here like, man, like, they really about to get an eye-opening view of the beginning of what this looks like. Now, have I busted my tail for all these years in the automotive and retail space? But like I told her the other day, I said, it's crazy because I feel like God is pulling me away from the automotive space. You know what I mean? She said, you see me. You know what I mean? I feel like God is pulling me away from the automotive space. I was on my hands and knees last night praying about the whole situation. Like, you know what I mean? It's been keeping me up to like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, you know what I mean? The job offers, I've now had 2 job offers within the last 48 hours. To go back into the automotive retail space. But, like, you know what I mean? We stepped out on faith and did something monetarily for the church. You know what I mean? And I feel like the overflow is coming. Like ET talks about that, like pressed down, shaken together, and then overflow. If y'all just bear with me for just 1 second, we'll talk about that. But, like, it's so crazy how, like, God has, like, been manufacturing and, like, just putting together the overflow. But in my dreams and in my subconscious, like, all I can talk about is, or all I can feel led to do is, like, man, if we're going to do this, you know what I mean? Now he stripped everything away. Like, a lot of people will miss their calling. And I apologize because, and you know what? I don't even apologize, because I feel like if the Lord's going to lead me through this conversation, let his words be heard, not mine. But, like, I feel like right now, God stripped away a few things in order to humble me. You know what I mean? We came into some money by way of my wife, but then we turned around and we've had the sustainment and the fulfillment over this time through me. But now to lean in and press into my wife, and then to lean in and press into, you know what I mean, what he's calling us to do in this era and in this time. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to make sure that I'm obedient to his will. Pastor Maurice, I don't know if you caught that live the other day. He talked about being obedient to his permissive will, because he allows us that latitude to decide what we're going to do. But I am now, like, in that place where, like you just said, you got to make that decision.
It's a side, and you have to pick it. You have to be willing to take what comes with it as a man. You know what I'm saying? Back when, and you spoke on it earlier, when you said I was one of the ones that was against, you know, him doing it. It was a side that I chose, and I was willing to die about what I believed in.
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing.
What I believe, and I'm willing to die to defend it.
And that's where that's crazy because like that is I don't want to say I'm die like, you know what I mean, because I do have obligation to my kids and to my wife and you know what I mean to answer to them. But at the same time though, I feel like for the short-term sacrifice will be the long-term gain.
But it's not even, you can't even say it's a short-term sac, and it's like we're just engaging in regular conversation now.
Yeah, look, that's how it goes. I tell people all the time, like my shows are never about like, oh, that's why I don't want to script. That's why you'll never see me be like, oh, we got to script this thing out. Like we got to make sure that it looks and it sounds a certain way.
Nah,
no,
that ain't gonna work
between two people.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like it's not even.
Wife, hold on, if my wife is available, she'll, you know what I mean, I'll add her to the link too.
I don't even believe that it's a short-term sacrifice. It's a sacrifice period for a long-term gain. That's it. It's the long-term gain for is this a sacrifice that you're willing to make. If you're willing to make it or you're not willing to make it. There is no gray area. You're either going to work or you're going to work for somebody else. That's it. That's it. There's no in between. There is no I don't want my kids to have to go work for anybody else. They will be a financial advisor. This is what you're keep chasing enterprises LLC. Yo, man, we have Taj, we have Kalani, boom, we have Kirsten, boom, this is what they do, and we have Kanari because she's gonna be I'm expecting another child. She's gonna be younger than everybody. But yo, man,
girl,
huh?
Is it a girl?
Yeah, Kanari.
Congratulations.
Appreciate that. But we're gonna. This is they work. Yo, we all work for, man. We work for ourselves.
Yeah, family business.
Like, yo, man, I'm in a family business that's going to take us a long way. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, what I'm doing right now, the things that I'm engaged in at this particular moment, I can only imagine 10 years from now. I can only imagine 5 years from now. I can only imagine next year. I can only imagine. Like, I can only imagine how big this thing is about to get.
Yeah, I mean, you got some wide open space, an uncharted space, and that for me is like probably the most scary thing because like we get so wrapped into, and you know what I mean, as a budding entrepreneur is what I call myself. I get wrapped into this space where like I'm expected, and I think Pastor Maurice put it to me one time, like, you know what I mean? I put so much weight on myself and I back myself into a corner about providing for my family. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, we talk about this. I talk about this a lot of times in my lives is about being homeless. So I always have chased a paycheck because I'm so deathly afraid of being, she's in the bed already. She watching though. I'm so deathly afraid of what that looks like. And if there's anybody else that you know that wants to hop on the live, we can send them the link. We can make this a discussion. But I'm so deathly afraid of what that looks like without the medical insurance, without the, you know what I mean, because I've been so used to that construct of the systemic, like not systemic, but like of the system of like a W-2 pay, you know what I mean, 1090, whatever.
It makes perfect sense. Like it's times where, you're going to have to decide, yo, are we going to be able to eat this, or are we going to have to or am I going to have to sacrifice and not eat this that I actually want, and just eat something so that I can eat? It's times like that. I've seen eviction notices. I've seen it.
You said what?
I've seen eviction notices.
Oh yeah, yes you have.
You know what I'm saying? So I know, you know what I'm saying, exactly what it's going to take. I'm not saying this from a place of me looking from the outside in and telling you, yo, man, I think if you get through this, you'll be. No, I'm telling you from experience, from real life. I wasn't supposed to be here. I tell people that all the time.
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to make it off of 58 from Norfolk. I wasn't. Am I rich? No. Am I wealthy? No. I'm rich in spirit. I'm wealthy in my health. and my focus and my drive and my perseverance. Yeah, absolutely. Do I have it all? No, not at all. Do I know it all? No, not at all. But I know that what I went through allowed me to sit in front of y'all today and tell y'all a story, a real story that I hope and I pray it motivates and it encourages. Because being a crack baby, growing up without my mom and my dad, realizing, yo, I got siblings out there. Let me find them on social media. That's why social media is so important to me, because I connected with actual blood relatives through it. You know what I'm saying? Connected with blood. Y'all not friends or my siblings. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not my siblings through, you know what I'm saying? My dad messed off with this chick over here. No, we got the same mom, same dad. You need a kidney, you might have to call me. You understand what I'm saying? So this is real life going without. You know what I'm saying? Going without. I know how it feels to not have and to not be able to do. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of friends in the NBA. None of them can say I called them and say, yo, I need XYZ. I did it from the muscle because I know exactly how it feels right now.
Yeah.
Is how I want to feel when I look back and I'm sitting on millions and I'm like, yo, crack babies ain't supposed to make it here.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in I'm sitting in my criminology class in college. We're doing a chart, a triangle of how you can make it throughout, your life. And my professor said, if you're a crack baby and you come from a home where your parents weren't there, there's no way you're not going to be able to be sitting in this classroom. Mind you, I'm sitting there, I'm just like, oh yeah. So I stood up and I said, Professor, I ain't gonna say his name, but Professor such and such. I'm a crack baby. My mom and dad were drugs. I found my dad dead when I was 10 years old. My mom had to see him alone. If we're being transparent, my mom had to see him alone. We didn't even know she was there because she was in shackles, because she was incarcerated in the penitentiary. I don't know what you thought, but I'm in my last semester as a, you know what I'm saying, as an undergrad, and I'm from nothing. I came from nothing. That's one of my favorite quotes. I came from nothing, so I'm not worried about nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about nothing. I know how it feels to have nothing.
Because I came from it.
Because I came from it. So you can't take something from me and it makes me upset. You can't put my back against the wall and I don't know how to get away from it.
Yeah.
I came from having my back against the wall. Batman, Bane, he said I was born in darkness.
Yeah. I knew you, because that's one of your favorite quotes. I was born in the dark.
Born in the darkness. I was made in the darkness.
You merely
lights off and get me to be scared. Because I know exactly how it feels to have nothing.
Yeah.
So a little bit of adversity and a little bit of discouragement and a little bit of my own sibling, and it's not to make it sound like, like my own family telling me, yo, dude, go get you a fucking job. Sorry. Yeah. Yo, go get you a job. And I'm like, no, what's wrong? Y'all hating on me? It turned immediately into motivation.
Immediately, you got to find a way to fuel the tank, and that it's so crazy to me because, like, you know what I always tell my wife? I'm like, listen, I don't know how else to do but win. I was like,
you was born a loser.
Yeah, I was born a loser. So you know what I mean. Everything else is just look it up. Like, you know what I mean. Everything from here on out is up. But
on your back, looking up at everything else, all you can do is go that way.
Yeah, like you can't go no more down. Like you're already on the ground.
On the ground.
So I turn around and I tell my wife all the time, it's crazy because I'll tell her, I'll be like, listen, it is crazy how every single time I had, she said we pushing 2 hours. I know I got the clock. It is crazy how every time that I've either failed, and I failed more times than I won. I promise you that. It is crazy how I failed more times than I won. And I turned around and I've always bounced back somehow, some way. But that's that never
quitting.
That's that never quit. You can't beat the dog in me. Like that dog in me. Like when E.T. talk, like you want to talk about like my favorite E.T. speech ever? When he says, I got that dog, like I have the dog because like I don't believe in losing. And if I do lose, I haven't lost. I've just learned something. Like this last loss that I took, I learned, you know what I mean?
All learning.
It's all learning. You know, this last loss I took, it was humility. You know what I mean? And operating humility in it, when you don't know, you got to operate in humility. When you're unsure, operate in humility. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying you got to cower or bow down to anybody, but you got to operate in a humility until you are 100% certain about someone or something. You got to operate in that space of humility, and that is number one thing that I learned in this last loss that I took. We'll say it's a loss, but it is so crazy how right now.
No, we're not even going to say it's a loss. We're going to sit there and categorize it as this last lesson that you learned.
There we go. So this last lesson that I learned that humility in the sight of all things, in the sight of the unknown. But what I will say though, it's so crazy how like I've always had that mentality about the car business, and I think it's because the car business is such a dime a dozen business that I turn around and I'm always like, I tell my wife, I told her the other day, like we were pushing 30 days unemployed, and I've been slowly working, built the LLC out there. If anybody didn't catch it, those 10 designs, one of those 10 designs is going to be the launch for the product. But what a lot of people didn't catch, or my wife and a lot of people didn't understand about that pre-sneak peek to the launch, was the fact that, you know what I mean? I've been working on that the last 30 days, like with all of my heart and soul. But it's crazy how I can turn around and I can feel fearless about the car business, about something that I know so well. I can be like, man, I ain't even worried about it. 30, 45 days, I'll be back in the spot. But this right here is saying like, you know what? In the sight of everything, I'm just going to go this direction, no matter what it looks like. I'm going to go this way. And I don't know if it's fear of family. I don't know if it's fear of failure. I don't know if it's fear of the unknown, but I think it's a combination of all three. I'm like that, like be 100% transparent. Like that's the most terrifying thing, is to fail my family.
The biggest thing with me, it's never about failing my family. One thing I tell my kids' mothers is I've never told you no, or I can't do something. It's always, do I have time to do it? Will I be able to do it immediately right now? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Or give me some time to put it together?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not like my fear is, and it's always something that, you know, people, what are you scared of? My son asked me, well, Dad, you don't seem like you're scared of nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, man-made things, no. I said, but mediocrity, being mediocre, we come from mediocrity. You know what I'm saying? I was raised in a house where, you know, my mom worked a 9 to 5 for 40 years. She just retired. She's 68 years old. You know what I'm saying? That's mediocre. And there's nothing on her because, you know, she did what she could do while she could do it. And I didn't have a bad life. Don't let people get on here and tell you, oh man, my life was horrible. And is that no? But in the grand scheme of things, you look back, it's like, dang, how the hell did he make it here?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But no, I didn't have a bad life. You know what I'm saying? Was it times where the lights went out? Yeah. Was it time where the water got cut off? Yeah. I know what it's like to fill up a big industrial sized trash can of water from my next door neighbor, and you have to get pots, and you have to flush the toilet with a pot. You have to get pots. You have to heat the water up, pour it in a cold tub, and you hope that you don't run out of the water because it got a little crack in the spout part and the water is going down fast. So you better wash up or you're going to be in a cold tub. I know what that's like.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people not understanding that aspect of it is that's why I can't, I try my hardest not to be regular. Nothing wrong with it.
It's just not for you.
It's just not for me. There's nothing wrong with going to work. I don't have a problem with that. There's nothing wrong with sitting there waiting on your paycheck every Friday.
It's just not for you.
It's not me. Like I had an ex that I told that to, and she jumped down my throat about it. Oh, what do you mean you can't do this? Oh, you don't have this, and you're not able to do this, and I wish we could do this. Yo, that's just not for me.
I don't need those things to validate me.
I don't need nothing external to motivate me or to make me go. I'm going to do it because I know that I can do it.
Yeah.
People always say, yo, I know once you put your mind to it, it's over. It's done. It's done. I said I was going to do it. It's done. Now we just got to put the work in to get it done.
And it's so crazy because and that's how I know we built from it. That's how you know we from the same mom and dad. That's how you know we built the same way when it comes to those things, because I'm the same way. I turn around and me and my wife will sit there and I just be like, once I make my mind up,
that's it.
That conversation done with, because I'm just over it. Like, if I say, it's almost like, so shall it be written, so shall it be done, so shall it be law. Like back in the Pharaoh's days, like that's how it comes into my head. Like once I have a thought process in my head about how things should go, and it's not always right or it's not always wrong. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and say I'm infallible. Like I'm not going to say that. But what I will say is that like once I make a concrete decision about something that I'm going to do, it gets done.
And I think honestly, that's the biggest tug of war you're dealing with right now.
Yeah, facts. Because you know what's funny? And as I say it, and this is like a breakthrough moment for me, because as I said, I haven't fully committed to this entrepreneurial journey, because I'm used to the health cares, I'm used to this, and I'm used to that, and I'm used to that. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I got one thing away from, you know what I mean, going to get my broker's license to sell real estate, and that's probably a better catalyst for me. I got to go take a test, and that's it.
I remember
I got to take a test. I've already done the class. I've already put in the 60 some hours. I've already done those things, but I just got to go take a test. And I was talking to somebody today. And she was like, the only thing that's holding you back is you haven't committed to it. You haven't 100% committed because you're so addicted to that comfortable lifestyle of that paycheck. She was like, when you could get more time, you could really work on your true business if you sold real estate. And she was like, I made $56,000
hours.
Huh?
Because you're making your own hours.
Yeah, she was like, I made $56,000 last month. She said, I made more money in 1 month than most people making a whole year. She was like, but you're telling me that you're going to go back to making X, Y, and Z. We're not going to put that out there, but you're going to go back to making X, Y, and Z just because it's comfortable. And I'm like, that hit me some type of way today. And I was just like, wow. So then that was like, man, it was great day to have this same exact conversation. But ladies and gentlemen, we are almost hitting 2 hours, and I apologize, but the conversation was so good. We was getting ready to chop it at an hour and 30, getting ready to chop it, but it just like natural conversation broke out. And I think some things were just revealed tonight. We're going to have to do a part 3. So, hey, look.
Unquestionable.
And you know what? Next week, we might bring on a special guest. You know what I mean? So if you guys got somebody that's going through the entrepreneurial journey or getting ready to step out, hey, that could be our thing. We can turn around and do the Sunday night showcase hosted by Thad and D. Hey, just like that. Just like that. It could be the late night showcase. I mean, right now, we appreciate everybody that's tuned in, hung in with us. We've had 4, 5, 25 people at one time, but we're streaming live to Facebook. We're streaming live to YouTube right now on my channel. Nailed it. So I appreciate all you guys that hung in and stuck with us. We'll be back next Sunday for a part 3. We're going to do a pop-up shop, talk about somebody else's entrepreneurial journey, somebody else's, you know what I mean, why, how, somebody else's top 5. And if we run them back down, his top 5, Dad's top 5 from Keep Chasing are prayer, perseverance, focus, transparency, and don't cheat the grind. It's been your favorite guy, Demetrius Naylor. You can always reach Thad J at keepchasingclothing.com. You can also reach him on Facebook at
Thad J, Frontly Roy, my last name. You can reach Instagram at BoobyF10. Let me put it in there.
So he got a couple of different spots. You can always reach me at demetriusnaylor@gmail.com. You can also reach me at Nailed It by Demetrius Naylor on Facebook, Demetrius Naylor on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. They're all my first and last name. I don't go by anything else. So Guys, we love you. God loves you. We definitely appreciate your time today. Booby, you want to say anything else to him before we get off here?
Most importantly, man, I want y'all to just stay focused on your focus. Keep your head up. Don't listen to the naysayers and the non-believers. Don't allow everybody to speak into your life.
Oh, we got to stop. Oh. Cut that right there. We're going to start next week's show with that one. I'm going to even write that one down. Don't let everybody, you can't let everybody speak life into your life. You cannot let everybody speak on what you're doing because listen, you will get, look, let me stop right there. We're going to talk about that next week. Stay tuned. Part 3 next week coming up with your boy, Demetrius Naylor. Hey, I appreciate you guys.